Hello everyone and welcome back. Today is April 23rd, 2020, and this was the planned starting date for planting corn in this field, and as you can see, it's wet. And what you may not be able to see is we've got a whole nother issue. It was Easter night. We had a very significant rainfall event. What happened was a couple of peaks right along the North Carolina-Tennessee border, just a few miles from here, received several inches of rain in a short amount of time. And these peaks are around 5,000 feet or so, and where we're standing at here is about around 3,000 feet. So the rain came down in elevation rather quickly. And what happened was, if you watch my channel, you'll know that our culvert for our driveway got washed out. And the stream that runs in front of our house runs into the stream that borders this field. And and you can kind of see how deep that is. We've got ourselves a swimming hole there, or a fishing hole. But so we had a flash flood event. Water came up rather quickly and everything, and this ground was ready to start putting the fertilizer in. And for the most part, we're still pretty good. This strip here, well, you can see it washed significantly. So now the question comes to mind, is the tillage practices the result of the erosion here? Now this is a pretty level field, and I'm sure there'll be questions about, well, maybe if you tilled it differently or done a no-till, or etc, etc, etc. What happened here, and I'm going to show you up top as we walk up through here, and you can see this ground has a few rocks in it. It's rather rocky, so I've not decided how to fix this yet. This is a leased farm, so the landowner is pretty much told us to whatever we see fit. And probably what I'm going to do is pull some of that dirt over here and maybe a little bit of that dirt, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, so it looks like a dry creek bed, which is basically what it is right now. But what happened, and we run into this, living in the mountains, your best farmland is along your streams. And the reason for that is the topsoil's deeper. It's usually a more fertile piece of ground. And what makes it fertile is occasionally it floods. And it deposits sediment into these fields, which make them, and you can see what we're dealing with down here. And down at the other end's a whole other issue, which we'll walk down there and look at. But it deposits this rich sediment and builds up the topsoil and makes it very fertile ground. That's a good thing. The problem is occasionally it floods and deposits all this stuff in here, and you have to deal with it. But what happened, and there's no amount of tillage practices or anything else that would have changed the result here. That's a flat tire. What happened was the stream broke its bank. Now, normally, if stream gets out, it'll get out, and it's undercut the bank significantly right through here. But that widens the channel. and you can see a lot of trash where it got out upstream. Stream gets out in a flat like this, it'll go out slow, and then it'll recede slow, and it'll just deposit everything. It doesn't remove a lot of material from the field. But in this case, this water was moving so fast and so quickly that it done an erosion. You know, other than some type of berm here, and you can see where it broke from there to that tree. You know, other than some kind of berm, there's really not a lot that could have changed the result. So probably what we'll do, I'll come back in when it dries and do some tillage, smooth it up. We will try to plant over pretty close. We won't lose that much as far as this part of the field. Now, the lower end down there, which is always wet and damp and a little muddy anyhow, it has deposited several feet of sediment into it. And you know, I don't know about planting it. The idea was to plant this whole field at one time, which is approximately 2.5 acres. Maybe just a scotch or a titch over. And you guys know what a scotch is, I'm sure. That's a smidge or a very small amount. But you know, we'll till this in, and you know, we'll just work through the rocks, which is kind of a standard operating procedure for us. Rocks we're familiar with. Here a rock rake would work good. We could probably rake some of these up and get rid of them. We may just bury them and put the layer of topsoil right back on them and call it good. I don't know yet, but we will do something, I'm sure. It's got a good channel down through there. But anyhow, and if the creek gets out again and there's an existing channel there, that's better than it taking the entire field. We've had minor events happen in this field before, and it never done any damage. We had crops in here before. We had cabbage here one time and had a small breach up there, but you can see it's eroded through here somewhat too. Now, this erosion, you know, is because stream was running down through here, but it may have been lessened if it had been plowed this way versus this way. It's quite possible, but the amount of erosion difference would have probably been minimal. You know, that's what you run into. But let's go on down here. Obviously, I'm not going to plant corn in here today. So I was hoping that it would be, and yesterday afternoon it was almost dry enough, and I was hoping it wouldn't rain last night, and I'd get an opportunity to come in here and get this ground prepped for planting today, maybe plant it tomorrow. But the way it worked out, it rained again last night, so there you go. Alright, so down here we've you can see the stream came on down. Now probably at this point there's a ditch right there that some of the water may have diverted and went that way, but some of it came down through here. And you can see once it got down here, it headed back into its channel, and when it did, it deposited. This end's always been low and held water, so it's not that low now. It has developed a nice little sandbar. So probably if I were guessing, this part of the field won't be planted. So we haven't lost that much, and you know, it's not that devastating, but it could have been. You know, if it had cut 3 or 4 big ditches down the middle, that could have been very detrimental. But you know, that's what makes bottomland good farmland. And like I said, they are several feet. You can see it filled in all the way over there. There's actually a survey marker that's about a foot out of the ground buried in there somewhere, and you can see it run back over into that ditch. So it actually helped this corner, but you know, and that's part of it. So we'll come up with something to kind of address that. I'm very cautious about hauling field dirt into a production field, because sometimes you can haul in diseases and other issues. There's that right-of-way marker. I was wrong. I was thinking it was down there, but it's no longer a foot out of the ground now. But so what we'll try to do is, you know, and we may actually bring a blade and pull some dirt and move some dirt. You know, if we had an existing ditch or a low spot along this right-of-way fence all the way up through there, it would be more, if the creek did break out, it'd be more of a chance to stay in that and out of the production area. So it's just one of the challenges we face farming in the mountains. And most farmers deal with floods, they deal with drought. No matter where you're farming, that is a common thing. We deal with the weather. And you know, I talk about farm planning and stuff like that, and like I said, I'd planned to plant corn here today. You plan, and then you work around the circumstances you're dealt. And you know, hopefully we can get this planted next week. If not, if this bottom stays wet, we're going to move to another field that's got a little more drainage to it and get it planted first. So, you know, we're going to get started planting corn if we get some ground that's dry enough to work. So that's where we're at. That's what's going on. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe, hit that notification bell. See a video you like, give it a thumbs up, and if you have a question or comment, please do so. And hopefully before too long, we'll be right there getting some video footage of some seeds going in the ground. Everybody take care of yourself.